I'm not going to lie, ladies and gentlemen. I did not think the Winnipeg Jets were going to win that game. But I was wrong. They win in overtime by a final score of 3-2 in a great comeback win. You got to love it, down 2-0 to battle back. And even though they didn't look the greatest at times, this was a big win that they desperately needed. If they were going to go 4-1 to start this year, I would have not been very happy. So I think this is a good win, and I think we should all be celebrating it. So what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Recap Reactions for Game 5 out of 82 for the Jets 2023-2024 NHL season. Let's jump right into it with the good and the bad, and of course the ugly as well. You know how I am, honest and truthful as always. And I gotta say, first things first, Connor Hellebuyck started this game like ass. He has not been good the past couple of games. Going into this one, he wasn't good for the first period either. 2 quick goals in him. That Evan Bouchard goal was not pretty at all. Caught way out of his crease on that power play goal. And yeah, 2-0 did not look like a very good, especially with a goal scored 1:25 into the first period, and then 6:11. That goal comes on the power play by Bouchard. So 2-0, 6 minutes in, into that first period. And again, like I said, I did not think the Jets were going to be winning this game. Even though Josh Morrissey gets an absolute clapper on the power play from Dylan DeMello and Morgan Barron to bring things to 2-1, you're feeling good. It's a good goal from Josh Morrissey to get his first. It's funny because in that first period, Darnell Nurse, Evan Bouchard, Josh Morrissey, all 3 defensemen goal scorers, all 3 defensemen getting their first goals of the season. And that's where things end there. And I'm not going to lie, did not think that we were going to see a victory for the Jets. I just did not, even though they got better, even though they battled and they improved on their play from where they were for that first period, for especially that first 6 minutes, that first 10 minutes, let's be real. I still did not like that second period. In my opinion, that Vlad Domestikov goal, it's great that they got it, but it was purely luck. Coming from Iafallo, again, you love seeing Iafallo getting goals, points, and assists and all that, because he's been absolutely amazing since the start of this year. So you love to see that. But that Domestikov goal was pure luck. Edmonton makes that mistake, that misplay there by Skinner. They come in, take advantage of that in the empty net, and boom, it's a tie game. And if that doesn't happen, I don't know if the Jets scored. They had some really good looks, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. This game just felt weird at times, especially in that third period. Both these teams were playing for the point. It felt like they both had the exact same record going into this at 3-1, so they knew that both of them wanted the points. They needed these points. It's important to get points like this early, so overtime points now in the season, this is the best time to get them, and that's exactly what it kind of felt like these teams were playing for. Even the Jets had good opportunities in that third period. They ended up putting 27 shots on net, but Edmonton put up 40 shots on net tonight. They won 51% of the face-offs compared to the Jets' 48. Power plays were pretty much identical, 1 for 4 for the Edmonton Oilers, 1 for 5 for the Jets. Everything else was very close. Edmonton out-hit us by just 3 hits, and then they out-blocked us by 4 hit blocks. So it was a close game in that regard, but in my opinion, I still think that the Oilers, even though they got lazy at moments, they definitely played a stronger game. So this was more or less kind of what I expect to see from this Jets team, I think, to start this year with Velarde out even. The offense is going to be consistent at times. They're going to put pressure on. The depth is there, and you're going to see that depth active a lot of the times. The problem is this team as an entirety cannot play defense, and we're seeing that right now. We're seeing the structure not being there, and again, that's time and time again we've seen that it's just these players they don't fit a defensive system really, a solid one, that is. And, take that as you will. They won this game still, but at the end of the day, that stuff's going to need to improve, and we know that. The defense is going to be the number one subject going into this year. I think the offense looks deep, and I think that they will, be able to produce. It's just, can Connor Hellebuyck be consistent? And can everything else be consistent? Because Connor Hellebuyck tonight, like I said, started this game off rough, and then by the end of things was the hero of this game, making some huge saves for the Jets down the stretch that kept them, in this game, kept this game tied at 2-2 in that third period, and then sent them to overtime, where eventually Mark Scheifele is going to get that 4th goal of the season, the game winner from Josh Morrissey and Kyle Connor. Tip-in goal, 3:53 into overtime. Really good goal there from him. But at the end of the day, like I've already said, this game could have gone either way. And I'm glad the Jets won it, and they desperately needed it, but they're still going to have to improve on their play. This was a check in the right direction. They get the 2 points. They get to beat the Oilers. That's great. The Oilers are now 4-1, or 3-1-1, where the Jets are now 3-2, so that's always important, to get closer to that 500 mark at the start of the year. But at the end of the day, like I've said, they're going to need to improve their play drastically if they're going to want to win more consistently, you know. And with Velarde out, with Villahinola out, the defense isn't getting any better. You're not getting any lifeblood in there on that top, with that top line, because let's be real, Mason Appleton is not the answer. He fits in. He looked like he was fitting in great down there on the third line, bottom six role or whatever, and that's what I want him to succeed at. Don't want to see him on that first line. I think at this point, Kupari is the better fit. I think getting Kupari reps in now will be beneficial for this team, because I think Kupari has a lot more to offer than some of us may realize. And if you can get those reps in, you can build that chemistry early on now. I think it's going to be a lot more beneficial to this team than just plugging Mason Appleton up there as a defensive forward option on the first line and, you know, having him get beat. Like that Darnell Nurse goal, you know, his man beats him. You know, and the same with Bouchard. Like, Appleton is just, he's not the guy to be up there right now. You know, -1 tonight, 15 minutes of ice time. You know, and I want to just say, in 15 minutes of ice time tonight, you know, he was definitely not that guy. Iafallo, on the other hand, got almost 20 minutes of ice time. So I really think that Iafallo should be the one jumping up on that top spot right now. I think he fits better as a goal scorer, and especially considering the fact that Iafallo in the past has played on a top line, has played with elite NHL talent, with the Kopitar and other guys down there on the Kings back a few years ago. So I think it makes a lot more sense to bump Iafallo into that role. I think that he can fit there well. We're already seeing the points that he's put up. You know, if I'm not mistaken, Iafallo's got, he's got already 4 points in 5 games. He's playing really well, 3 goals and assist, 2-goal game against Vegas, obviously, and then the goal against Calgary on the 11th. He's been really good for the Jets, and I expect to see him continue this. You know, Iafallo is a very serviceable, good NHL player that can play anywhere in your lineup. He's pretty much a Matthew Perreault. Like, that's a really good, the best comparison I can think of him for Jets fans when comparing him to guys we've already seen. You know, he's Matthew Perreault when Matthew Perreault was in his prime, pretty much, you know, and I think that he can offer a lot still for us, even at his age. I think Iafallo was a great pickup there at 29 years old there in that trade, and I really want to see him get more opportunity with this team. I think he could really surprise and be an underrated piece for this team going down the stretch. And again, you know, it's early on. We've talked about this a lot. Early on, you know, we're not going to be able to judge this team just fairly just yet, but these are just things I want to see, you know, being taken in. But at the end of the day, the Jets won 3-2 in overtime. I'm very happy with it. You know, they rebounded well. Connor Hellebuyck started to play well and tightened up that crease, and they ended up getting the win, and that's important. Hopefully Hellebuyck can ride this hot hand and get the Jets some streaks and get them above 500 and start to really make an impact and get some points early on in the season. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, what your thoughts were on this game. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and check out all the other affiliated links down in the description below. Have a great rest of your day. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications if you haven't already. Peace, love, and positivity as always. Go Jets, go. And I will see you guys in the next one very, very soon. Have a great rest of your night. Let's go on a run, baby. Go Jets, go. It'll all be over.